pull up these same things. So there's two things in here. There's the estimating mass lab, and then there's the metric length scavenger hunt. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the metric length scavenger hunt, because that's something you can work on after the mass lab, and you already know how to basically do this. So when you go in here, you'll click on this document and you'll make a copy of it. My students know that, but I don't know. I think Mr. Girton usually embeds them. So if you're in Mr. Girton's class and you try and type on this, it's not going to let you. So you have to go here to File and select Make Copy, and then you can rename it or leave it as copy. And so the mass lab that you all did, the length lab that you all did last Thursday and Friday had objects in there. It said like, estimate how wide the whiteboard is, or estimate how many centimeters the windows are, okay? And then you wrote down like 200, and you went and checked it, and then you subtracted and found your difference. What I've done today is, instead of putting objects over there, I have put metric lengths in there. So you have to read carefully, because not all of these are in centimeters. So what you're going to do for this one is, see, the first one here says, try to find objects of these lengths. So the first one says 40 centimeters. So if you think about a typical ruler is about 30, okay? So just imagine, we're just estimating. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So just imagine a ruler in your hand and add 10 centimeters to it, okay? So whatever that is. And you want to find an object that is, say, 40 centimeters. So as I'm sitting here looking around my room, I noticed that the paper towel dispenser over there looks like it's about 40. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit less than that. So maybe I'll do like the top to the bottom of the paper towel dispenser. So what I would do is I would type in paper towel dispenser, or whatever, paper towels. And then I would go over there and measure it. And let's say I measured it and it was 43 centimeters. And then my difference, you just subtract 43 minus 40, and that means I was off by 3, okay? Now, you don't have to put like you were 3 over or 3 below. It's just how far off were you either way. So whatever numbers you have, just subtract the smaller one from the bigger one, and then that's your difference. So that one is 40 centimeters. The next one is 87. So remember, a meter is 100 centimeters. So this is less than a meter stick. And then you have 3 centimeters. And then you have 1 meter. So that's 100 centimeters. That's 1 meter stick. 31 centimeters, which is about the size of a ruler. 1.5 m, which means 1.5 meters. 1.5 meter sticks, or 150 centimeters. Then there is 65 millimeters. So those little lines on the meter sticks here are millimeters. So 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So 65 millimeters would be 6.5 centimeters. So about that big. 240 millimeters would be 24 centimeters. So that would be about that much. 28 centimeters is next, a little bit bigger than the 240 millimeters. And then 2 millimeters, which is just 2 of those tiny little lines on there. And then 8 meters, which is 8 meter sticks. So obviously, if you're here in the classroom, maybe you want to go like the length of the cabinets, or maybe you think from the front of the room to the back of the room, or from the side wall to the other side wall. Or maybe you want to go in the hallway and measure like one set of lockers that you estimate is 8 meters, okay? So you're going to do this after the mass lab that you're doing today of the metric scavenger hunt. And you can work with partners on all of these labs. All right, but first, though, we're going to do this estimating mass lab using the triple beam balance. So this is going to work much the same way as the length labs do. You're going to estimate the mass of an object, find the real mass, and then subtract to find your difference. So I know that you all have used triple beam balances before, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I just want to remind you how to use these. So the reason it's called a triple beam balance is because there are 3 beams on here, or 3 weights. One counts by 10, so you would go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And you want to make sure that it's like in the little groove, okay? You would not put that between the 10 and the 20 and call that 15, okay? it's got to be down in the groove. So that one counts by tens. The next one counts by hundreds. And then this little slider at the bottom can go all the way from 0 to 10. It doesn't have to be in a little groove. It can just be everywhere in between in order to get your measurements exactly right. So you want to start off your lab by making sure that all of these beams are down at 0 and that this little line over here is right at the 0, okay? So that your balance is basically balanced. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your objects. Now, you can pick any objects you want. And over on the counter over there, we have all kinds of stuff laid out. There's little spoons and magnifying glass and dice and blocks and metal blocks and wood blocks. You can use, the paper towels, the safety goggles. You can use your phone, your pens, pencils, marker board, markers, anything you can find in the room to find the mass of. So you're going to get better at this as you go, okay? Because you're probably not going to be able to pick up something and know right away what the mass of this object is. Because in the United States, we do everything by weight, okay? But around the world, they do things by mass in grams. So if I pick up this remote control here, and I've done this a while, so I have a pretty good idea about how many grams this is. And I'm going to estimate that this is 80 grams, okay? And so what I'll do is I would write on my data table, I would say this is 80 grams, and I would put it onto the balance. So I always start with the hundreds. I would go over to 100, and if that doesn't go down, that means that it's not enough. So 100 is not enough. So I'm going to go to 200, and you see that's too much. So I got to go back to 100, and then I'm going to count by tens. So there's 110. It went down, so that means that's too much. So I'm going to use my little slider down here. And after I get this to be leveled right with that 0 there, I'm going to add them up, and that will tell me my mass. Okay, so that's about right. So I have 100 plus 3. So that's 103 grams. Now, if it was like this, if this one was over there, so that would be 367. So you just, wherever this evens out at, you add them all together. So my estimate was 80. It ended up being 103. So I have to subtract 103 minus 80. So I was off around 20. So that's a pretty good estimate. So as you're doing your estimates today, just remember that this remote control is about 100. So when you're trying to figure out like how many grams something is, just imagine holding a remote control in your hand. Like, okay, if I know this is 100 and I got this pencil over here, well, this is much lighter. So, I'm going to say this is like 10. Or you put something in your hand that's heavier than this. Okay, if this is 100, you put your phone in your pocket or your hand and you feel like your phone is like twice as much. And say, okay, maybe your phone is 200 grams. All right. So you will just fill out that chart. Like my example here that I did where I said, okay, I got a ruler, which I estimated was 5 grams. I put it on the balance. I found out it was 14 grams. So I subtracted 14 minus 5 and I got 9. Okay. Last thing I need to show you as you're doing this activity is that whenever you pick up your balances and you take them to your seats, you don't want to grab it here and you don't want to grab it by the stage here. You want to basically get it from both sides. So pick it up like this, okay? You don't want to grab it on the part that is actually doing the weighing. So pick it up like this and carefully take it to your table. Okay, so I explained this to my class. I'm not sure if Mr. Gerton told you this. So those of you that are in the classroom, what you're going to do is you're going to take your camera of your computer. And so you'll set your balance down and then you can have your camera on it, okay? So that the people at home can join into your breakout room and they can interact with you and you can, you can put your objects and so you can tell them like, okay, so I'm going to do a pencil and then the people at home can record, okay, pencil, record what you think the mass is. And then you here in the classroom can find the mass for them. they can read your balance, and basically you are doing the weighing for them and they are following along with you. They can interact with you in the chat, and you can help one another out. And then on days whenever you guys aren't here, people that are here will do the same thing for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the breakout rooms up, and I am just going to make it so it says let participants choose, okay? So that you may, I just clicked on let participants choose, and then I'm going to open up, like, there are 40 rooms. So I hit create, all right? And then if you hit open all rooms, then this allows you, now does this let you go in and pick which room you want to go in? Okay, so who are all the students we have here? So my students that are here, we've got Eliel, we've got Chase, and we've got Jesus. Mr. Girton, who are your students that are in this room?
I have Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson.
Leilani Alvarez.
Leilani Alvarez.
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Antonio Ennis.
Antonio.
And Aiden.
And Aiden. Okay, so you will want to, students who are on the Zoom, to go into a breakout room with one of the students that are in here, okay? And then you may observe what they are doing and then record their, well, you can put your estimate in, okay? So if they are doing like a cube, you can put in the chart what you think your estimate is. It doesn't have to be what their estimate is. And then they will show you what the actual mass is, okay? Any questions here in the Zoom? Hello to Mr. Girton students in the Zoom. Can you all hear me in the Zoom? Can someone please put something in the chat that says, yes, we can hear you. We're here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. There's like 30 people in the Zoom and no one's talking. Okay. All right, so we'll see how this works. I will be up here as well. I can help out with a triple beam balance for people that need assistance or can't get into someone else's room. Okay. Questions in here. The balances are over there. The objects are over there. I did sanitize them after the first class, and I'm going to sanitize them after this class as well. Also, if you want gloves, there are gloves up here. You are free to work by yourself. There's enough balances for everybody to have your own, but if you want to partner up, you can also partner up and work with someone else or a group of 3. Just, huh? You can partner up with whoever you want. Yeah. I don't assign partners. You pick your partners so you can put a balance between the 2 of you and work together. Yep. Just one of you, just be sure you put your camera onto the balance so people at home can see, okay?
So people in the breakout room can see what you're doing.
All right. So I've set the breakout rooms. Everybody please join a breakout room. And those of you at home, join a breakout room with one of the students that is here. All right. And you are free to get up and around and get your stuff. Use anything you want in the class to weigh.
Again, if you're in Gert's class, we've got Essa, Leilani, Jalen, Antonio, and Chase here.
And you can work with either class, folks. If you are in Gert's class and you want to get in a breakout room with one of my students and vice versa, that's fine.
All right, 1, 2, 3, go. Don't be shy. Grab you a balance, grab you some objects. Start estimating.
All right, looks like everybody wants to be in Chase's room. All right, Chase, you're on the spot. Oh, Chase moved. Okay. And I can do some too up here as well.
Roaming around to help you out.
So for those of you that are at home, while we're waiting on the people here to get started, I will do a few examples here for you that you can use as well. So are there people that are going to watch me? Tell me in the chat if you are going to watch me do a few here. Me, okay. All right, so I'll do a couple and then you can go into some of the other rooms, okay? All right, so let me get some objects and I will show you the object and then I will let you write down your estimate and then I'll put it onto the balance and we'll find the mass of it. Okay. Elio, do you want to be my helper up here and do the demonstration for the camera? All right, I'm going to employ Elio to be our assistant here. So Elio, go over there and get like 5 or 6 objects.
Anything? It looks like horse.
So I will start with, while we're waiting on Elio, I'm going to start with my eraser here, okay? So those of you at home, you can put eraser in your chart, write down eraser, and remember that this remote control was 100. It was 100 grams. Now I know you can't actually hold it in your hand, but just imagine what a chalkboard eraser compared to a remote control would be, more or less than 100. Okay, Elio, so you take these. Do you think that the eraser is more or less than 100? It's less. Okay, so Elio says it's less. So go ahead and put in your estimate what you think that is. Okay.
In your breakout room that you're using your camera so they can see what you're doing.
So he's starting with hundreds. That's too much. So now he's going to count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, almost 90. Okay, so 90 is too much. He's going back to 80. And then you gently kind of move that along. Now, we don't have to be exactly perfect because these are old. They're not even perfect as it is, but okay. That's pretty good. So if you look at that, you've got 80 plus 2.8. So 82.8 grams is what you would write. So let me show you in mine here. So I would say eraser. Elio, what was your estimate? What did you think? 70. Okay, so we'll say the estimate was 70. It's 80, what did I say? 82.8, which you could round to 83 if you want. So I'm just going to round this to 83 grams. And then you take 83 minus 70 and you get the difference is 13 grams. Okay. All right. Yeah, so reset this. All right, I'll let you do a couple and I'm going to go check on other people. Just tell them what you got or show them what you got.